Oliver Stark and Aisha Hinds. Welcome.
I've never heard such an introduction.
Of the 118.
The 118.
I might do a church running.
Come on, baby. We've been shouting.
You want to talk about church? I have said since Mariah put me on 911, which was about 1 year ago, when I started from start to finish, I caught up within 2 weeks.
Yes.
I say every day, I thank God for making me a 911 fan.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And I watch, as our sisters know, every procedural.
Yes.
Lauren and I are comedy writers, and so I don't watch a lot of comedies. I'm like, I can't. It hurts my brain sometimes. But a procedural is what puts me in a good mood and spirit. And when I was introduced to y'all, I was introduced to 911 in my first writer's room.
Really? I
And
didn't know
my
that.
friend Kratz, shout out to Kratz, he would always say, there's this show where they do the craziest stuff and you will never believe it. So he showed me the clip of Chim getting the rebar in his head.
Correct.
And we would watch that every day because we were like, this is crazy. And I said, well, let me watch this. And baby, I got hooked. Hooked, line, and sinker.
Hooked every person who would listen. We've hooked our listeners, our sisters, as we call them, friends, family, and people, which we'll get to when a big thing happened on the show recently. People were like, you walked us into this show, and then we abandoned them because we haven't talked about it yet on the show.
We haven't spoken about
And
it.
they were like,
Mariah refuses to watch the
She
finale.
won't even watch it.
No, I haven't watched
She
the
hasn't
last
watched
two
the last two.
episodes.
I did.
Because
Come
I get
on.
so
she's too
anxious. I've
fragile.
read all
Mariah,
the
take your
spoilers.
time.
Yeah.
Load them up right now.
I
Let's watch it together.
I started it last night, and I said,
It's too,
I got
she's
to
too
go
fragile.
to sleep. I'm so hurt, but we'll get to that. But I can't watch, and I've said this before, I'm like, with endings and finales, it hurts my soul. I haven't seen the finale of Oprah. Like, that's for some reason. I haven't seen the finale of Friends. Haven't seen the finale of anything. And when people die,
Yeah.
It's too much.
Is
to
that
watch.
because it makes it final, that it's over if you watch it?
it makes it so I know I have something left. If I know I can watch it in the future.
Right.
And it's still happening.
Right.
Okay.
But I'll read probably what happens. I'll read spoilers
Sure.
for everything.
Yeah.
I told Lauren I read basically everything but the script for the last two
Yeah,
episodes, so
yeah.
I know what happened. And even Cap on his knees has gotten me. I ain't even seen it.
Yes. When he walked away from Athena, I started sobbing.
Wow.
It's too much. It's
good.
too much.
I mean, not that you were sobbing,
Yeah.
but
Right.
good,
Sobbed.
you know? That's
Now-
what we want.
We're going to finally
Actually
ask
ask
you
you
some
a
questions.
question.
Yes.
So one thing, as you probably know, we love people who cut up and kiki. And that's why we're obsessed with you guys' friendship, especially. So what was the origin of that, and how did that come to pass that y'all became so tight?
Well, so tight is a very strong way to say it. I don't know about so tight. We get on. We do all right together. We work together, you know.
Just co-workers. Just co-workers.
No, I don't know because I feel like obviously we've all of us really got on from the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, though, right? Because it was from the beginning for all of us, and I think that the thing that keeps making it become so tight is the fact that, you know, naturally over the course of like a series, there's this like spoken thing where like, oh guys, after the third season, everybody starts fighting. It just gets ugly,
Right.
you know. And so we kind of waited for we enjoyed our first two seasons. Like, oh my God, we really like each other.
Yeah.
And then by season 3, it was like, we still really like each other.
When is the storm coming?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we kind of, waited to see like, when won't we like each other, and gave ourselves grace because it's like that's supposed to be the trajectory of,
Wow.
and we just really loved each other and spent time together. And I think too, weathering a lot of outside life
Yes.
storms, the industry is on its head, COVID happened, and it kind of literally and figuratively put us in a bubble.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think we just kind of bonded. But also I think that the characters have been written in such a way where Hen kind of, was giving him wisdom from the beginning and to date.
Wait, where are you going with that? That mirrors life?
Here I am.
That's true. That's true. And I do think though, we have always all been very close. But I do think we've got like specifically a little closer over the last couple of years. Don't you think that? I think something to do with
Oliver.
Oh, come on. Rip my heart out. I think because we live close to each other. I would drive you to work
That's
sometimes,
true. That's
which obviously meant nothing.
What car do you have?
Well, back
loves a
then
car.
I was what was I probably driving you? I was probably driving you in the truck, the F-150.
Oh, interesting.
That's a pickup?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And Oliver's quite the extremist because when he first started the show, he had no car. And we would be so upset with him, like, Oliver, it's fine. You don't have to live this life anymore.
And I was living in that studio that you guys used to make fun of me
Right.
Not
for.
a studio,
Up until
no
season
car.
4.
What?
Yes.
Listen, you never know when a show's going to go away. I was
You're
just
right about
stacking
it.
money and being like, so when the time is right, I'll be.
So
yeah.
he went from no car, living in a studio, to like this house
Okay.
on
Okay.
Acre.
Yeah. No, but I get that. That's a smart thing.
Living large.
Big old truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Love
150
that.
is iconic. Is there someone on set who spearheads like the familial vibe, or do you all kind of tap in? Like, I know my role in the family is to get people together for dinner, or I know that I'm the party planner. Is there anyone who's like, they keep us in check and they make sure that we do our social events together?
Actually, to be honest with you, we don't see each other that much.
Well, you film
outside
so
of work.
much.
Yeah, and because some casts do, right? And it's not that. I mean, obviously, we just spoke on how close we are, but I do think it's like because it's so intense
Yes.
the job that we do, and we do
Yes.
work 6, possibly 7-day weeks, you know, which then results in 12 days straight because you do 5, then you work the weekend, then you do 5.
Oh my God.
It's nice to have a little break.
Yes. You're like,
from
don't
our
talk to
family.
me.
Yeah.
I get it.
And I think we're just, all of us are actually people that we don't do tons of social things. Like if any one of us did more social things, I think we would probably all do them together, but we like to sleep.
But also,
Me too.
I think it evolved, like, because in the beginning we did, right? You know?
But you were trying to prevent that third season
Yes.
curse,
Yes.
essentially.
We
But
weren't as
also, we
tired.
were
Yeah.
younger and we didn't have a lot going. Like,
Right.
I wasn't married.
Yeah.
I didn't have, you know, I have my family that lives with me
Yeah.
now, my mom, my nephew. I didn't have all of that. I was living alone. He was, he was here pretty fairly new to LA. Then Ryan, he was
Right.
also, you know, like, we all didn't have a lot else going.
Yeah.
So we spent time outside of work also together.
Wow.
We went away to Big Bear together.
Wow.
I think Ryan kind of spearheaded that.
Yeah.
We would go to, you know, to lunch. You know, Pete kind of, you know,
Yeah.
saw that. You know, we would. Kenny's very
Mr.
much that
Social.
guy.
That
He's
seems-
Mr. Social.
yeah.
He would be like, I worked at this bar. I worked at this bar before.
Yeah.
And so he would make sure that we would go to these bars and restaurants.
Oh my God. And that even works with Chim's backstory.
Precisely, he
Come
brought
on.
it in.
A lot of the backstories from the show.
I know. We're going to get to
You'll
you.
find some things.
We got to find one for
Yeah.
you. We're going to get to you.
But then, life happened, and we all became responsible adults. And it
Right.
was like, you know,
Doesn't
now
that suck?
Ryan has his kids. I got my family. He got big dogs. And
We
Yeah,
gotta
I
talk
I
about
love
You
that.
gotta
Everybody
talk
got
about
kids.
the
I got
dogs.
dogs.
We want to talk about the
got
dogs
dogs.
because we're big dog people as
Okay.
well.
Yes.
And Lauren's wife, Brooke, she is a white woman who grew up very privileged around horses, all that stuff. So
Okay.
she's our vet. When anything happens or happens to our dog, we'll be like, Brooke, Sprinkles is throwing up. What do I do? And she's like, no, check his gums, do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Like she will tell us what to do.
Gotcha.
Do people come to you for that?
I didn't grow up with dogs.
Really? So you're just
No,
learning.
I'm from London. I didn't have dogs. Like there was not
Whoa.
space to walk them. Yeah, no. My dog Jade, which is my smaller of the 3, she's my first ever dog.
Wow.
So I've worked it out as I've gone with them.
What kind of dogs do you have?
So Jade she's a mix. She looks like a black lab, but
And she's
a
the
mix.
smallest you have?
Yes. So then the other 2, they are
What?
a breed. They're called Anatolian Shepherds. So
Okay.
they're like livestock guardians. They're big. I mean, I'm 6'2", and he comes up to my waist.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah, they're. I heard you describe them earlier to someone as a wolf. Like he said, so I said my front door was not locked, and she's like, "Sorry, he's got wolves."
That's such a black way to describe somebody's
yeah,
dog.
yeah.
Because once the dog gets big enough, they're no longer a dog. It's a pony, it's a horse, it's a wolf, it's a bear. It's
Why you got
not
that
a dog.
animal?
You know,
in your house?
someone at work the other day, I walked by and they did say, "Oh, you got dire wolves," and they were black. So yeah, fair enough. All right, yeah. But yeah, so they're big, like guardian dogs.
Oh my
so,
God.
But 2 of them, so Jade, the smaller one, and then one of the Anatolians, they come with me to work every single day.
Wow.
So
love that.
they've turned Aisha,
Yeah, do you
previously
have-
not a dog person, into a dog person.
And
I
big
love for
dogs
that.
too. I
Live for
love
that.
that.
That's rare that big dogs turn
Yeah.
people into dog
Yes.
people.
Child.
Was it a journey?
It was so weird, like because I have friends who have dogs, and I was like so anti. But I think it's Bear's story, you know, like how he found them, you know, their sibling relationship.
They're siblings.
Yes,
Yeah,
and so I caught them. They were running free, and I caught them.
Yeah,
Here?
And
What?
and now every single day I get a dog meme on Instagram from Aisha. Every single day.
Are you serious?
Just completely
am I lying?
my friends are like, "Who the hell are you?"
Wow.
You're like, not me, a dog person.
It just seemed like they had such a rough life,
Yeah.
you know. And so he would share the story about them and share, like, you know, how aggressive they were with one another, and then like. During the strikes, we would walk the lines together, and he brought Bear one day, and it was going to be Bear's first time sort of being around people, and so he was nervous, and so I was nervous. I'm like, well, why are you bringing?
Brown meat. I'm one of them people.
And Bear just was so warm and soft, and like it was just so beautiful. So I was like, and so I was proud of Bear. Like, look at you, look at you being around people.
I know.
People better than me.
It's therapy.
This
therapy.
is my dog Sprinkles. May he rest. Was similar. He had a horrible upbringing, and he was a mini poodle. And I was like, I adopted him, and I was like, did I make a mistake? But trying to like get him acclimated to life. But I rehabbed him, and he was at the end sweetest thing. He had a year without biting.
Yes,
and.
Yeah.
I'm
what
like,
more
good
can you ask for?
What more can you ask
for?
for?
0 years without biting.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
Well, he mostly only bit
not
me.
0.
Right, yeah,
the opposite. Infinity years without.
Yeah, but so dogs like especially rescuing dogs is
Bear,
iconic.
not to speak too much on them, but he has a very special energy because he's so big, but because he's now so gentle with people. It's like there's something quite disarming about him. Like he'll lean up his weight against you, but just like let it rest there, and he's everybody's favorite. He's won over the entire studio lot.
I'm obsessed with that.
I love a set dog.
I love a
know, I
set
love
dog
a set
and
dog.
a big set dog.
Yes.
We like outside of Sprinkles, all of our dogs are so big.
The day I got Sprinkles, the day after I brought him to work, and I didn't know his temperament, baby. He almost bit a kid. But I learned my lesson quick. Okay,
quick.
I would like to pivot because I love 911 so much. I could truly write a thesis about why I love your show, but I would like to specifically address the way that it portrays Black women.
Yes.
I think in the workplace specifically and in friendship, like when Hen and Athena sit down to just like chat or are there for each other, it's so beautiful. And I think about, you know, when Hen was like, you know, on the Stairmaster trying to get, you know, carry all the equipment and everything, and like the way that it accurately portrays like workplace struggles and like real sisterhood. How much of an input do you have in that, you know, the process of like developing those stories?
I don't have to have an input, thankfully, right? Because they have been thoughtful enough to include our voice in the writers' room.
That's amazing.
So there are Black female writers who are present in the writers' room, and there are just, you know, thoughtful women in there, you know, who are mindful enough to ensure that they are doing the work to authenticate our experience on screen as close to it as it is off screen. You know, from my first meeting about the project, they pitched the character less about kind of the work that she's going to be doing and more so like, so she's Angela Bassett's best friend. I was like, say less.
Say less. Sign me up.
Where do I sign? You know, and so it was just like the idea of being able to explore Black breast friendship on screen in that way, you know, but then also seeing that these are two working women with families and, you know, and
who are
flaws
leaders
and who are leaders in the space and who are, you know, strong and vulnerable, you know, who are impactful to the environments that they occupy, you know, who
so
are
much
respected
is expected.
by
Yep.
It just was such a full is such a full experience for me. So I appreciate you seeing that, you know, and noting that. And so it makes it so wonderful to kind of inhabit that on a day-to-day and then to see the impact of it out in the streets. Like one of the first times that I went back home to New York, where I'm from originally, and just had people who looked like me, like, girl, oh my God, I love this. I just felt so validated in the work, and it inspired moving forward with doing more of the work on the show. So
I would like to give flowers to whoever wrote one of our favorite lines of all time. And as Oliver shared with you before we started, I got Mariah a pillow that has a picture of Angela Bassett from the 3-part cruise season premiere, where she said this.
He doesn't have any damn dongles.
That is just whenever you need something, he doesn't have any damn dongle. Don't ask me about the dongle.
Don't ask me about the dongle. Anything in my life, I'm like, don't ask me about the dongle.
Because he doesn't have it.
You know, if you ask me 1,000 guesses at what your favorite line from the show was going to be,
Never be it.
never. Give me 10,000. Never.
Are you that is we have that soundbite, so it comes up
In the show,
often, because it's also an energy. And speaking of, I did miss something very big at the beginning of the show. For Halloween, I dressed up as Buck.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yes.
You have pictures?
I
Our
did.
friend Torian actually
friend
sent
Torian
it
sent
to
it
you because
we know
Torian was
Torian.
at my Halloween party.
Oh my God, I've seen these pictures. Yeah.
And it was
Cute.
the joy of my life.
Yes.
And now it's the joy of my life.
Yeah, I was like, this is, and I was gonna dress as Athena in that scene.
Yes.
But I was like, that's just a little too niche.
Yeah.
And even with all due, the costume was
A
niche.
black
That was
woman
as a white man was not.
And in a tight, it was a sexy Buck.
Yeah.
she had like short,
As opposed to the real one. That's just normal.
Correct.
She was,
There's standards.
As opposed to TV Buck.
as opposed to like regular.
Yeah.
The asexual version on television.
We had to make, when people get a little excited.
Yeah. For once.
Yeah.
For once.
So, I was whipping around the hose. I was doing all the things. So thank you for
good.
Yes.
For
I gotta look it back up again.
Your
to remind
impact
myself.
is felt.
yeah.
In terms of impact, I do want to talk to you, Aisha, about your directorial.
Yes.
Yes.
Aisha, can I just say first, truly, as I watched it, I was like, even the slight stylistic things that it did, like when the montage of Buck, like actually moving into Eddie's house, things like that, and like the mega church, like all of those extras.
And then you being in scenes.
I'm like, this is, and as a directorial debut, is insane.
Insane.
Listen, I was so grateful for the experience and immensely supported. Like, I learned about the superpowers of our crew in a way that, was elevated from the, I always had respect and reverence for them, but getting to see their collective genius at play and them be able to have a perspective on how the story is told. Like now, you know what I mean? Because as an actor, I am so consumed with what my job is in executing the storytelling and what I have to do as Hen and where I'm walking and what, that I forget that there are other people in there who
Making
are punctuating that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Whether it is the choice of paint on the wall, where the picture is placed, where the couch goes, how it goes, where the camera is facing.
It's
like
the full story.
It's the full story. And to see everybody so excited about their contribution to this show just elevated my experience. And I had so much support. My brother here also was a tremendous support. Like, he would come in early on days when he didn't have to. To your point, the scenes that he were in, I would come to set a couple of hours early just to kind of sit in the space because I'm like, I'm new here. I don't know what I'm doing. So, and he would come, early before the crew and just like, what do you need? What are you thinking? And share with me what he was thinking and had, you know what I mean? And it came down to the end where I was like, how would you block this scene?
So now when's your directorial debut?
No.
Correct.
No.
Not happening? All right.
I was just
why
there.
not?
Oh, I don't know. I like to. Aisha's been pushing me to
I think
try
you
to
should
throw my
go
hat in
for
the
it.
ring. I have found that I like to have ideas from my point of view. I like to watch things happening and go, oh, guys, I think maybe if we did it this way, it might help and it might be a little simpler. I like to just have the ideas when I have them, and I'm not really
Sounds like a writer.
okay.
Yeah.
So
you like having
I'll take
input,
that.
but not like having to carry the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't want the pressure or anything. I don't think it necessarily appeals to me.
That's I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I agree
I like
with
to
that.
speak up when I want to speak up, and I'm also happy to let things happen around me, and best idea in the room wins.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I was just there to watch and support Aisha do her thing, and hopefully she'll do another one next season.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I don't know if
She
that's in the
has
works, but I'm
to.
throwing it out there. 'Cause it should
right,
be.
right. Hey, can you actually play that?
Wait, this is so British.
Yes,
It's from Love Island.
We're
Uh-huh.
We play it
That makes
anytime
sense.
we
anytime
do a
we're
show.
just when
the
Lauren's
two of
out,
us.
if
Gotcha.
because
We're
just
lads.
the vibes.
Just
Yeah.
lads on tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, lads
Just
on
lads
tour.
on tour.
While it's Aisha, Hinds, and Oliver Stark.
Yes,
also,
yes,
FYI,
yes,
those
yes,
voices
yes.
you heard. Oliver actually over the break said he had a question that he wanted to ask on air. What is it?
So you guys obviously, which is lovely, really enjoy the show.
Yes.
You said you watch a lot of procedurals.
Yes.
Like, what is it specific? Not that I
Yeah.
don't agree, but what
Yeah.
specifically is it about 911 that you guys like so much?
Can I start?
Okay, go for it.
I'll start. For me, which we kind of touched on at the beginning, you all do these things that are so crazy, like the Be NATO. It's like, there are things where it's like, this feels like it would never, ever, ever happen. But then you all make it feel so real at the same time, where I'm like, I can also see this happening, or your reactions to things happening and your relationships are like, oh, this is real family, real work drama, real lives that are happening. Even if these fantastical, crazy, disruptive things in the city are happening,
Like
the
can I just
realness
say,
happens.
My friend Kratz DM'd me. He was like, not them having Bobby's funeral, then the next episode, the water in LA is flammable. Yeah. I was like, that's what life goes on.
It's a pendulum.
And what I really love about the show is I think it was the first episode, which also I think it's one of the best pilots, especially of a procedural, because you learn so much about these people. It's when you all are taking, I think, the woman who had put her baby in the tube. The pipe. And you want to go into the hospital, and Bobby says, like,
Yes.
you don't go through, like, we don't go through the glass, we do it before. So I love the idea. It's like, oh, watching what happens before, whatever's going to go there. I love that there are different, like, what is it, calls each
Yes.
episode.
Yeah.
Like, I love that sometimes there are arcs, but also that it's like, okay, we handled this call, on to the next.
Sure.
I
It's
think
very
the first time
realistic.
that I watched it, I was like, wait, that call is done?
Yeah,
I
it's
was
like, we don't see
get
them?
to
Yeah.
finish
Right,
it. And where I was
right.
like, no,
No,
we're
the
moving
day
on. keeps going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
What I love is because I am like a long time like Grey's Anatomy watcher, I usually stick to medical dramas, but what I really resonate with on 911 is the characters, how adaptable and talented they have to be, because it's like the fact that Hen and Chim are firefighter paramedics and
Yeah.
Eddie, like that
Which
is
I never
so
thought about until the
brilliant to
show.
me. Or like the fact that it's like, okay, you can get the jaws, but you can also get on the ladder. The improvisation and like resourcefulness that has to happen and problem solving. I love that about the show. Like, because no call is going to be the same. Like, I watch shows like doctor shows, and they're always like doing surgery, and that seems hard and cool.
Sure.
But like, you guys show up to the call,
Right.
don't know what to expect, and it's like in 30 seconds you have to figure out what
And
to do.
to that point, I like that it's not just like, these are cops, these are doctors,
Yes.
whatever. Because my biggest thing that I've been thinking about a lot, I don't know why, medical shows don't show like nurse practitioners enough.
Right.
And I'm like, you
Or
have
physician's
or
assistants.
physician's assistants, like things like that are part of the ecosystem. So you see everyone. Of course, some calls you'll need the police and the firefighters.
Sure.
Like,
Yes.
there are things like
Or
that.
the dispatcher.
Or
Yes.
the dispatcher.
Never seen
Yes.
And I'm like,
Yes.
it's so real in that way. So I love that. Thank you for
Okay.
the
Yes.
question.
Thank you.
Can
Thank
we
you
ask
for your
you one?
answers. I guess if we have to, I suppose that is how
In
it's going
terms
to
of,
go.
I do want to talk, because Lauren mentioned like grabbing the jaws and getting on the ladder. You all play firefighters, but you also have to kind of be built like a firefighter. Like, you all seem
Like you are
so-
actually doing
Yeah.
all of it, which I know y'all do some of your own stunts, but like,
To me, I'm like, how does one keep up like you're not a real firefighter, so how do you keep up the physical momentum? Like how is your day to day in the gym? We've seen you in the gym on social.
I see you too, though. I see you
You
on
see
the
the 3:30
TRX.
a.m.
Here's because we lift now, the three of us, and so I love seeing it because now I'm like, oh, I know what I and
you
it's
know
so
the
fun.
things you're using. But do you come up with your own plan where you're like, I'm
Your own
just
program,
here to stay healthy? Or is there something where you're like, I know they're going to ask me to do X stunt, so let me just make sure like my cardio is good. I can at least lift 150. Like, what is that for both of you?
I lift very much and train very much with the mindset of I'm going to be lifting people or things at weird angles. I mean, we had a moment the other day on set, right, where there was a heavy-ass washing machine, and I was like, oh, what if I moved it out the way?
Right.
And you were like, why are you volunteering to do that? But I said, because I do. I train with the idea that I come to set and I can do these things that they should do. So it's like, I train for it. I want to do it once we get here. So, no, I absolutely do work out with that in mind that, you know, even if it's holding something that's not particularly heavy, we're holding it at a weird angle to get this car door open. So, it's definitely, from the get-go of the show, been a big part of how I perform in the gym and why I perform at whatever hour of the morning in the gym.
I mean, it's
What's
crazy.
your max for deadlifts?
Right now, I've lifted 4 or 5. But I don't know right now. I don't think I'd lift 4 or 5 right now, but that's the most I've
What
ever.
about back squatting?
It's like, I want to see your muscles now.
I have a 315 back squat.
Oh my God. What are you talking about?
But I don't bench a lot of weight, so those are my 2 good lifts.
Okay.
And I don't bench a lot.
My God.
Wowzer.
I'm trying to get like, my boy.
On that same front, because you all are such great actors, and again, remembering that you're actors, like I'm afraid of heights, but if I got a job that I really liked, I would have to really sit with myself and be like, okay, this job requires me to be hanging off of something or, you know, climbing ladder and stuff. How do you, as an actor, when you get an audition, like, do you have either of you any aversions or like fears that you've had to like navigate around either for this job or for other acting roles?
I'm a strong supporter of the stunt union.
Yes, come on now.
We give thanks and we bless.
We give thanks
So
for
we
the
bless.
people who
We
have put
bless.
time and energy and expertise.
They are trained
We have an
professionals.
amazing stunt coordinator, Tia Turner, lovely man, black man who has put together an incredible team of people who I support.
And we want to let them have fun in their job.
Exactly. I
Do
don't
their
want to take
craft.
away
Don't take
their
that from them.
time.
The employment.
Exactly.
No.
I try to tell Oliver.
I'd be
sometimes,
trying
I'm
to take
like,
their job.
"Brother,
You're like, I'll
They're
do it.
good. I'll do it. Let me do it.
That ladder does not need you. No, but you know, funnily, like in the director side of things, like I was so much more like willing to do things, you know. On the actor side, I know how many takes it takes to do a thing, so I'm like, where's my stunt double?
Yeah.
I need my also employing black stunt women. That's
Come on
that's
now.
so
Madam.
important.
Correct.
So like that is
Correct.
great.
Although just so the double's going to be there regardless of she.
Yes, that's true.
She's got a job no matter what.
Still
so,
get paid.
Oliver's like, no, I'm not taking the job away from my stunt
just to be
because he
clear.
still is there.
But also, I'm not going to let you downplay too much. You've done some stuff. You do some cool
it's
stuff.
fun. It's exciting. You know, if something seems like thrilling, and we have, you know, production designers who create our worlds in these amazing ways. So, you know, sometimes it is kind of enticing.
You're like, ooh,
to
I
want
want
to do
kick that
things.
door in.
Yeah, exactly.
I love smashing stuff on the
I
show.
would love that.
It's
They
like
let
a
me
smash
smash
room.
a camera the other day. They put a GoPro on the door.
Did they let you, or did they tell you not to smash
No.
the camera?
He
and
he said hit the camera with the battering ram, and I said, Andrew, now DP. I said, are you sure? And he said, yeah, hit it. I said, it's gonna break. He said, GoPros don't break. I said, Andrew, are you sure? He said, hit it.
Did you break it?
He
It
broke
didn't
it.
even record because it broke.
I need
It
you to
goes
shut
right
up
up
right
until
now.
the moment of hit.
Right up to the moment it hit.
The moment
And
of
so
impact.
it's in the show, right? The episode is aired. It's in the episode Invisible, and we go in and there's a man. He's
Stuck under
stuck
the
in
bed.
a
Oh,
bed,
yes, the
and
one
they're
where you
cheating
at the
on
end
top
where
of
you.
him.
Oh, that
So
was
when we-
interesting. I remember that.
So when we break into that house, there's a shot of me swinging a battering ram, and then it comes right up to the camera, and then it cuts.
I
And
actually
said
was
to
wondering
them-
about that cut.
And I said the other day, I was like, oh, you didn't actually show the hit. And he went, because it stopped recording.
Yes.
You
So-
broke.
Yeah, so,
The cut
I
did
love
call my
smashing stuff.
attention.
Yeah.
Because I remember right inside. I was like, that's a stylistic choice for them.
Yeah.
I like smashing
It's
stuff
like
on
that
the show.
Bluey
That's
episode
hilarious.
when they changed the animation
Yes,
randomly that one
it's like,
time,
now
and you're
hold
like, what
up.
happened? She is a kid. Sorry.
Yes, I do.
Question. So we love that there's so much queer representation
Yes.
on the show, and I just want to ask for our buddy stands out there,
Yes.
Eddie and Buck. You have said that you read Buck as bisexual before, but there were certain things that, like, in hindsight, basically, you know?
Absolutely.
So what I wanted to do is I was thinking there are certain scenes that stick out to me where I'm like, you weren't thinking that in that scene. So we're going to read a scene for you.
Just dry. Just the word
dry. And I want you to
Please
really
don't read it
tell
dry.
me.
Let me hear something. Come on.
No.
It's the script pages.
Yes.
We have
No, I literally
Highlighted
wrote it
and
in the
everything.
final draft. I said, I'm doing it. Okay.
All right.
Rachel's going to do stage directions.
Yes.
Lauren, you're Eddie. I'm Buck.
Yes. Interior.
You have the costume, so.
Buck's loft at night. Buck and Eddie, enjoying beer, stand opposite one another in Buck's kitchen. Eddie leans on the counter. Buck, the island.
Can I just say, this is not a dry reading. You're putting a little something into this.
Listen, we've done
Leans
speech and
on the
debate and
counter.
performed. Don't
Come on.
play with us. Okay. It's not dry. Now, let me play a role opposite my sister.
Yes.
Now, I thought for sure that day in the grocery store, you were going to take a swing at me.
Not that you didn't deserve it, but I wouldn't do that. You're on blood thinners.
Well, I'd still take you.
You think so?
I know.
Buck straightens himself and inches toward Eddie.
You want to go for the title?
Eddie smirks and sips his beer. End scene.
Yeah,
Now-
that was super gay.
Yeah. And so in that moment,
It was.
And I believe you grabbed
It
your
was.
belt a
I
little
did grab
bit.
my belt when I said it.
And
Yeah.
I said, this man is grabbing his crotch, leaning toward him, and he got a beer in his mouth. We about to see something we shouldn't. We about
ABC about to
So-
show it.
You know what's funny, right? So when that scene was written, Tim Minear, who's our showrunner, said to the writer of the episode, he was like, this is a scene, right? This is two guys like talking to each other, and the writer said, well, I wouldn't talk to my best friend like that.
No.
I did grab my belt when I said the line. But here's the thing, like, genuinely, when we're playing those scenes, like, that was not in our head at the moment.
Uh-huh.
Looking back,
Yeah.
I do see how it's
subconsciously.
taken. Yes.
What is wild to me is that I saw it in that scene, but then in the like classic Buck Tommy scene,
Yes.
I didn't see it
I
coming,
didn't see it coming at all.
Right.
Can I tell you though that Buck Tom, the first kiss between Buck and Tommy, everyone
Iconic.
loves it, iconic, and that's actually how I got a lot of people to watch the show. I
Yes.
said they doing some gay stuff on here. Y'all need to tune in.
Me with my wife, I'm like,
Turn it
two
on,
men
turn it on.
doing something?
I ran to the back of my house
Yep.
and I said, "They're gay on here!" And my wife was like, "I'm on a Zoom,"
And I said, Buck is kissing a man. Buck is kissing a man. And I'm like, we obviously replayed that, but my favorite Buck kiss is the one where you have the soot all over your face.
Yes.
Now, that's something turning up in a room full of people looking like a little slut. Like, that is power.
I love
So we
it.
thank you for that.
We do thank you. We also, what were you about to say?
I don't think I was about to say anything. That was just
She's
nodding
like,
along.
I was going to ask to leave.
No.
I was gonna say we also thank you because Aisha said if you follow Oliver Stark, you get a whole bunch of stuff on the IG, and you sometimes get posts and deletes, which
Yeah.
we'll get to in a second.
Wow.
But we see a lot of photography. That
You have a photography account.
it is stunning.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
The photos you post, I'm like, this feels to me like, okay, this is a set photographer who knows the cast well enough to get these shots. Then knowing that it's you getting them, it just is like truly phenomenal.
They look
So-
like historical artifacts in real time.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which is
thank you.
amazing.
So where did that passion come in? Did you have that passion prior to being on set, or were you like, I got to document this incredible journey I'm on?
So I started taking photos during COVID.
Wow.
Way to get out the house. I started with landscape photography. So I would just learning as I went, really,
Yeah.
like all self-taught. And then the beginning of actually last season. So everything I've shot is on film, and that just felt like a fun thing to do. I started last season being like, can I document behind the scenes of the whole season?
Whoa.
And I made it to episode 6. And then this year, we had a new camera department come in. And a lot of them are big camera guy photographers as well.
Wow.
So I had this like extra motivation and people to keep me accountable. So I had the idea of if I shoot the entire season behind the scenes, black and white film, and then I make a coffee table book at the end of the season. So it's been difficult
Give
the
me the
last
book.
few weeks though, because
it's hard.
it's starting to feel like pressure.
Yes.
But
And
we
I
are
did the
wrapped
book.
now, and I did it. I got 18 episodes.
Shutterfly about to be sick of you.
The last batch of film is on its way to New York right now to be developed.
Oh, right, you get it developed because they make fun of me. I have my little Olympus and my little cameras.
Yeah,
I
it's a
like
great
taking
little
these
camera,
photos. And I'm not great at it. Like as I was telling my sisters earlier, I approach life guerrilla style, essentially. Like nothing, I'm just like, oh, I did it, it's fun, whatever. But, so I really appreciate it. But are you going to update your film account? Because it hasn't been updated since November of 2024.
So here's the thing I did that I regret. So
You opened it up and had people follow.
Yeah, I had that
that was
account for a
weird.
little while, and I didn't have my name attached to it, and I was really enjoying it. And then I made it public,
That was
and I
a bad
regretted
move.
it because it just became something different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It felt like I wasn't doing it for me, which I previously was. Suddenly it was, and look, people being super lovely on it,
Yeah.
best photographer ever, and I'm like, no, but you're only saying that because you like me on that one.
like me on
It
that
just
one.
became something. No, not that, not to take away, because I do believe I take nice photos.
Yeah.
But it just became something different once I made it public, and something about that made me draw back away from it. And so I share what I take on set. I was doing that at the end of episodes for a long time, and even that I pulled back from a little bit.
Right.
But I have a whole bunch that I'll probably start to drop over
Now,
the
so
weeks.
exciting.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Fans constantly, like, I somehow love Reddit, and I'm, doing my little thing. They are like, Oliver, oh, he's interacting with us finally, thank God, or like, I can't believe it. But why do you then post certain things and delete them on your stories?
Which you do.
You do that.
I do that
also
too. I
do
know
that.
why I do it, but why do you?
I would say there are two reasons.
Okay.
One is sometimes I'm like, what are you posting that for? What are you looking for there? And then other times I'm like, that'll be out in the world now. They got it.
Yeah, they got it. They got it. That's right. I was
got
like,
it.
that's
So
always going
They
to
got
live
the
online.
screenshot.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Man.
So, yeah, I would say those two reasons primarily.
And why do you do it?
Yeah.
I have always
Because I'm always like, where did that go?
No. I have always believed I have to post from my spirit.
Okay.
No matter what it is.
Okay.
And if I don't feel spiritually it felt right, I'm going to take it down.
Okay.
You draw back.
I draw back.
Understood.
I would like to have been avoiding it. We have to talk about the last 2 episodes before the finale of 911. As I said, I did sob, and that's on me for starting it at 10 p.m. when I was in my bed.
After I texted you saying someone died.
Yes, and I was like, well, I don't know who it is. And I was like, oh, God, please don't let it be Chim, not realizing
It was cat.
it was going to be Bobby. Okay. Walk me through when you all found out that this massive death was going to happen on the show.
A phone call came in
Wow.
from our showrunner the day before
No.
the pages
You better
No.
stop.
were going to drop.
No.
No.
And were they new pages or was
Yes, and they had, yeah.
Yeah.
It was previously unknown.
So we were starting, obviously. It was a 2-parter episode, and we had obviously started the first
Jesus
part.
Christ.
And we, like you, were walking along the story as it was written and been like, wow, it's a really dangerous situation.
Yeah.
They
They had you open surgery on the table laid out.
Correct.
I said, they not going to do this
But
to him.
never, not once, did any of us
Die.
think we were not
Because
making out
you-
of it this place, because the nature of our show has
That
always
doesn't
been
happen.
Survive.
that I'm going to get up off this table.
And I'm gonna see you
Chim going to get
tomorrow.
up off that table.
Yep.
Robbie gonna get up off that floor.
Yeah. And we all
And
go
the cat gonna lead us out.
Exactly. Now, say ain't nothing but a word.
Can I get a
Amen, baby.
And Buck gonna be out there welcoming us with Athena.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like I've been recently investigating for y'all.
So yes, that has always been the culture, the formula, the pattern of the show, you know. And so Tim Minear has been, you know, famously, you know, noted as saying like that has been the show.
Yeah.
And so he felt compelled to sort of, you know, make a creative choice that would just kind of shift, you know, the I guess the texture of the show. I don't, you know what I mean? And so he too was like, you know, I've always done this thing with all of these characters, and that's just not realistic. Now, you know, as readers of all social platforms, you know, there is a dragging for the realistic versus the non-realistic when it comes to our show. It's like, when did you decide that you were a realist?
Exactly.
We
Because he
can't
also
just-
described them as like comic book, like it's like a comic book characters. It's like Wolverine will go into the adamantium and come out.
Yeah.
That's what y'all do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
You all are incredible actors, and don't even get me started on Underground because
Or True Blood.
That episode.
Please don't.
Mine is True Blood, though.
Yes,
You and
With
that
all
wig.
due.
Have you watched that
Minty,
episode?
season 2, episode 4, Minty. Come on.
Have you watched it
Harriet
yet?
Tubman.
Come on.
Whole episode.
Did they teach you
Aisha on
about
that
Harriet
stage.
Tubman in school?
I don't know if they did
I don't
actually.
think so.
If you don't know, they probably didn't.
No, but I do know, but I don't think it's through school.
No, probably not. Why would they?
I'm just asking. I don't know what happens in primary school in London.
For your A levels.
But I want to know those shots, which Mariah hasn't seen for her mental health, at the end of the episode where it's like you're sitting in that chair, like after you've gotten out of the lab, the cuts to all of the 118, like finding out and crying. I was like, these are brilliant actors, but I was like, I feel like some of that was for Pete.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
for sure it was,
100%.
because
For sure.
honestly, some of the episode it was shot out of order, so I don't even know if the scene where Pete actually, you know, takes a knee, had actually been shot yet before.
For me, it had happened
Right.
that day.
So yeah, yes, it
I
did.
had
It
said bye
happened
to him that day.
day.
My stomach hurts.
Yeah.
What?
And I think for Kenny and I shot on the same day, and I don't think it happened. And it was very visceral for us. It was very gutting. You know, it was a big change happening. You know, feeling kind of suddenly for us. You know, we've spent 8 seasons together. You know,
It breaks my heart for you all.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
sad.
So
So
We
can't.
spent more time with each other than we have anyone else in our lives. You know, we work 5, 6, 7 day weeks, 10 to 14 hour days. Like, we don't see anybody else as much as we see each other.
Correct.
Like, it's family.
Yeah.
And suddenly he's not there.
Yeah.
And that it is difficult to reconcile with that. And it definitely feels different. As you know, is the intention though, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for something to feel different.
And you all are finally leaving the Fox lot.
yes.
Right.
So
Yes.
that's going to be a lot of
Big change.
next, which I'm like, that stresses me out. But I also want to ask before we end, at the wrap party, you wore a jacket that said 911 Nashville, and we know Nashville is going to be the spinoff.
Why would you do that?
No, I didn't do that.
So
Don't worry, I'll correct
So-
her when she gets that question.
no. So don't say you're going to correct me, baby. I'll correct you. Okay?
Let her get a little question
I know.
It's a question now.
Don't
Come
play
on.
about it. I've been, what is it? What do they call it? The council housing? What is that? I've been there.
Council estate.
Council
Council
estate.
estate, yeah.
Baby, I will check you. But are you going to Nashville?
No. So,
Yeah, who gonna check me, boo?
so the jacket I was wearing
Yes.
said it was the brand name, which they are based in Nashville.
Sure they are.
There was the 911 that I was wearing was I met somebody for the first time who works in our construction department.
Okay.
And they had made their own little 911 construction crew pins. So I had my 911 honorary
I'm gonna say I
construction.
don't believe you, but I love the story you're telling.
Why?
Pull up the picture.
I love the
It
story
says
you're telling.
911 construction
No,
crew.
no, no.
Oh my God, she's
I
going
love
for it
what
and
you're
everything.
saying. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. I know I'm right.
I know what I wore.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Set her straight, Oliver, please.
I mean, it was 4 days ago. I know what I wore.
Embroidered. That thing is embroidered.
No,
Where,
it's a
where is
pin.
it? Now I can't find it. Lord help me, God.
The
I got
nostril
it.
is
Now I
embroidered.
can't find
No,
it.
the
Now
pin
I
is
Oh
embroidered.
yeah. Oh, it's suddenly gone from the
is embroidered.
internet.
Suddenly
I
the
thought the
pin
internet
is
was forever.
No. I'm gonna get that for you. I will show you that, and I will zoom in and show you how it works. And when I see you on that season premiere, I'm finding you.
Wait, but here's the thing. I would love to go over there for an episode. Yeah, sure. I'm not fighting that.
But are you going for a season?
Oh, not that I know of. No, I hope not.
Gotta ask Tim. Yeah, gotta ask Tim.
Wow. Well,
Let me see if I have a picture.
thank you.
Let me see if I have a
While
little
he pulls up a picture, we unfortunately have to end the show. So that picture will be
no.
just for us. Sisters, thank you so much for joining us.
it's real.
If it's real. that construction pin on my jacket. That's the brand from the day. I put the pin on it. Sure you did. All right. We will see.